So the next is focused on textile design, the important craft of batik, which traveled from Japan to Japan from India to Japan from India through China and Southeast Asia. The speaker is Padmini Tolat Balaram, Shashi Creative Institute of Designs, Coimbatore, India. So she'll be talking about this travel of batik to Japan from India, and I invite her to present her.
So it's very, very difficult, but I'll try to do as fast as possible. I'll try and go at super jet speed. Okay, this batik, basically, people say that like batik went from Indonesia to um, Japan. Now, that's where I disagree completely. Batik word did go, because batik word is Indonesian word, but that has been accepted these days all over the world. So we are using batik as a word. But that definition of batik is okay, but batik didn't go from Indonesia to, I mean, before that, it had already traveled. So definition of batik is the batik word is an Indonesian word adopted presently over the world for textiles painted or block printed using wax as a resist. And during the ancient period, natural dyes were mainly used for dyeing textiles. So methods of resisting using wax was mainly used with indigo, because natural indigo is a cold dye. So it is much easier to do batik. Apart from that, they also used red dye and other colors. So then the method, to create patterns before dyeing the textiles is the one batik. So now types of wax used earlier and now. Earlier there were beeswax mainly that was used. Now beeswax and mix of beeswax and paraffin wax, or just paraffin wax, are also used. Apart from that, there were certain waxes which are done by shokubutsu in vegetation. Then origin and spread of batik in the world. So batik is originally Javanese word. So therefore, it is derived from the Javanese word, which is derived from batik, that consists of amba, means wide or large, and tik or nitik means dot, or to make a dot. And then the word batikan also means drawing or writing in Javanese. So combination of these small parts of word has made a word batik. Now, origin of batik, as batik is an Indonesian word. Even, I mean, I was so surprised that even if you go to the very known dictionaries, they say batik is has come from Indonesia. Even BBC and even all those people say that, So this is completely wrong information, because that seems to have, batik seems to have originated in India, and I'm giving you some of these proofs for that. And in the painted and printed textiles, the Indians were using wax to resist the dye, and they were exported to Egypt and Persia between 5000 BCE to 1st BCE. So therefore, Indians were already making it and then exporting it. By 1st century CE, Egyptians had learned that this technique from Indians, and following map gives a rough idea of spread of batik all over the world. So there is a map coming after some slide. The wax resist dyeing technique has been used, that is the oldest batik is in the region all along the trade road between Egypt and India. So like you will find it in Baranike, and you will find it in many other places. So what I'll do is I'll go faster. So history of Indian batik. So early the evidences of the resist painted or printed cottons of India. So it is believed that India was pioneer of using wax resist. By Mauryan period, India had acquired mastery in manufacturing painted and printed textiles where wax was used as resist dye. The Chinese name these ones as flowered cottons, and they are referred as Wa Pu. Wa translates to the flower, and Pu in Chinese means cotton. Sometimes they fabric, and actually sometimes they said Wa Mian Pu. Mian is cotton. So then that is flowered cotton of India, cottons of India. So then there is people wearing batik textiles could be seen in Ajanta paintings, which is 1st to 6th century BC. I mean CE. So that is. And some of these you can see it here. So these are some of, then this is the motif, which is a very well-known motif of India. This is Hansa motif. So that is, you see this King Jataka tail, this lady on Luca is wearing that motif, and the batik is reversible batik is done. Then these are also seen in the continuation of Geese motif is seen in the dotted patterns, and this is like in the folio of Kalpasutra manuscript, that is 1375 to 1400 CE. Now, this is the map that I was talking about. So there is, it very clearly shows the 5 different phases of the batik's travel. And these phases are like phase number 1 is India to Egypt and other centers in Middle East on its way to Egypt. So that is 5000 BC to first century CE. And then second phase is India to China during Sui dynasty, 8th century CE period, and China to Japan during Nara dynasty. Actually, sometimes some people say it started with Asuka dynasty, but in Nara dynasty, it really got hold of it. I mean, then the phase 3 and 4 are India to Malacca Strait, that is Indonesia. And so it has reached Indonesia much later, even later than Japan. So it certainly couldn't have gone to via Indonesia to Japan. And then, one second. So then there is, this is, and the last stage is, and also the maritime Silk Road and colonial trade route. And then the last phase is batik spread from Southeast Asia to Africa and Europe. Because it went to Europe via Southeast Asia, they thought batik has come from Southeast Asia, that is Indonesia. So India to Egypt and other centers in Middle East on its way to Egypt. So that is, I will say, exports of Indian batiks. And I already told you about the Vapu and all that. So the Greek physician Cassian has said in 400 BCE, he writes of clover cotton emblazed with glowing colors, which reminds us of modern chins and which are coveted by the fair Persian women in the harems of Susa and Ekbatana. So there are, and then Chandragupta Maurya's capital, the people who came, they were, I mean, their robes were worked with gold, and then they were all wearing precious stones, and these were all also painted with batik. So textiles trade of Indus Valley. Now one sees that during Indus Valley civilization, already we were making these kind of textiles, and I mean, natural dyed textiles, and they were exported. And some of these things that I will show you. So that is the very early exchanges that took place. Indus Valley trade was at its peak between 2600 BCE and contained till 1800 BCE. And the chins were also like known at that time. So that is the early, I mean, the chins are one of the fabrics which have kind of a largest lifespan. It started with Mohenjo-daro, and we have it here till today, still alive. So this is why I'll just go very fast so that I'm escaping some slides. So this is Indian batik exported to Berenike, a Red Sea port in Egypt. Now that was a Roman, Roman had already by that time taken over parts of Egypt, and that is Roman port it was. And this is the batik, very clearly seen piece from Indian batik. It is trying to, the design is believed to be of lotus. This is just part of the fabric, and you can see the spots, white spots, which happens when you are trying to paint batik sometimes. And these are Indian batiks found in Fustat, Old Cairo, Egypt. So this is, you start getting these kind of textiles, which are from 1st century to 12th, 15th, 16th centuries. And then these are indigo dyed, and there you see 3 kind of categories of these textiles, which went from Gujarat mainly. And this is, one is white and blue indigo dyed batik. This is red and white madar dyed batik. Then there is a red, black, and this batik also, red and black batik. That is also madar dyed batik. And then there is resist print, red, black, and blue, where madar and combination of indigo is done. So these are some of the batiks that you can see. And amazingly, same design goes in fashion for centuries together and to different places in the world. You can see the same design found in Red Sea trade in 1340 CE, and it is housed in Ashmolean Museum. And the same pattern of Hansa and Lotus pattern, you can see it in Egypt, Pustat, made in Gujarat for Indonesian market, 15th century from Calico Museum. So now these are the Indian batik found in China and Chinese batik I will talk about now. So this is Indian batik cotton excavated from Nia. Now, when I went to in 2005, I was invited by Tongwa Tashwe, that is University of Tongwa, which was supposed to be earlier called as Textile University, to give lectures and all. PhD students come and shows me this particular fabric and says, who is Kinnara? Because this particular person at the corner is supposed to, he said, it's written, it is his Kinnara. So what do you mean in India by Kinnara? So if he is Kinnara and it is entirely painted with batik, that had gone, and Nia was a halting station in Taklaman Desert on the China route. So it has gone from India. Now this is typical of India, where we always make, see, it must have gone for Chinese trade. So there is a design of a dragon painted there to suit that market. And that is the Indian policy wherever you sell things, and you will see in many of them. And these are some, like, I'm not reading about, these are the tools which were used, wax knives and all, in China later. And these are the, now amazing thing is, one book which the sensei from there who gave me from China, and it showed me same pattern saying it is Chinese batik. And I see the same design, if you see, same textile from Nara and from Soshoin collection of 8th century. And this is exactly, I have seen this particular one. And actually the director of that museum, Soshoin Museum, who was, now he's no more director because he's retired, Professor Ogata showed me these. And so this is then, so it shows like maybe it has gone from India, China to Japan and preserved there, or was it made in Japan at that time again? I don't know. Now this is Indian batik painted chins, because Sushila-san said, no, don't touch chins much. I've just put just this one to show you that this is Chinese, for Chinese market, India had made these chins, which later on became so popular as chinosaries in USA and Europe. And then this is batik among Chinese minorities. Now, this is my research for Asia Scholarship Foundation in 2009, 2003. And then again, I had gone to those places on my own. And these are batiks of Chinese minorities, because China, they say batik came from minorities. And it was not the Han dynasty or any other dynasty, which was, it's not originated by them. So that's the reason I'm showing you this. And this is by Miao Chinese, and they are excellent in batik. The skirt is made using batik, and she's wearing it. Even the headdress is made by batik. And this is, I don't know why this came. It is from another previous this. This is also Miao batik. This is wax painted piece which I have, and this is the actual piece which is dyed after that. So then this is. And it has got butterfly and the motifs of this tribal motifs are typical butterfly, because it is for it gives so many eggs, so that's why it is butterfly is put for population. You have many babies. And then this is 100 bird caught. Sorry. This is something else came. And this is a priest cloth, priest coat, and these have all symbolism. And this is a 100 feather coat, and made by this. This is me doing learning, trying to do Chinese batik. And then this is the batik person who is like very well known. He's a professor also, very well known batik artist. And this is Gurcha, another minority which is painting batik. So I have just shown you some of them. This is Professor Ogata, who showed me Shoshoin collection. So now I'll go to Japan, and I will show you. This is if you see, these are from Shoshoin collection of 8th century, and the elephant one and even this one is same exactly as shown in Chinese book. Now I'll quickly go. Early import of Indian batik to Japan started with Ryukyu period, and it is 14th to 16th century when Ryukyuans went to Malacca and many other Southeast Asian countries, and then they kind of were gifted Indian textiles by even Chinese emperors and even all these places emperors. In Indian textiles are always a gifting commodity. Only people who are very good, they will give it to them. And then this is Indian textiles exported to different markets. This is Indian textiles made for Japanese, especially with Japanese motifs, made in India. So Tomoe motif is there for, then you can see the open fan motif. Open fan motif is used to give as a gift for anybody who is starting a new business to for the prosperity. And then there is a, I mean, kume motifs, I mean, turtle shell. So for long life and all that. So there are so many. And this is a typical influence. The below one that you can see is a typical influence of making pieces together because they didn't have the things. Okay, these are the wax resisted Indian kalamkaris for Japanese market, and that is Sarasa, because Japanese Portuguese sold it so expensive that nobody could buy one than. So they all Japanese cut it off and made clothes. And this is Vasarasa made by copying Indian Sarasa. This is Okane motif, and that is other motifs from mixing of lotus and Chinese and Japanese motifs. And present trends in Indian Japanese batik is this. They also print it with this. These are some of the works I saw during my last fellowship of Japan Foundation of Japanese Artists, documenting, and these are the batiks done by Japanese artists. And these are from students of Saiko University. There was an exhibition done batik, and there was a biobo also made. And then there is an Indian batik found in Indonesia, and this is this. And then these are the 15th century. First Indian batik found in Indonesia is of excavated is 5th century, and these are some of the others. So certainly Indian batik, before that already Indian batiks were found everywhere else, so it had not gone. Now this is Indonesian batiks, and these are some of the Yogankara batik, other different types of batik that Indonesia made, and traditional Indian batik in 20th and 21st century. This is I mean, there are several batiks, and this is a whole Shantiniketan batik started with Indonesia, Tagore's son going to Indonesia. So I was always wondering why did it go, and this is the Shantiniketan batik, I'm just saying. And these are the other things, Mundra and other centers of Indian batiks. And this is Sungudi saris. Now this is very important, Sungudi sari. Gujarat craftspeople was brought from to Tamil Nadu, and because in Tamil, Cha and Sa is said. So Chundari became Sungudi. And this is, these are, and that's my own work in batik. Okay, thank you very much.